Right. All right, this is Clayton County Magistrate Report preliminary hearing calendar. Today's date is April 29th, 2026. This is the state of Georgia versus Keenan Bird in warrant number 2026 WA 04697. All parties are present and have announced ready to proceed. 88 Thomas, you can present the date pick.
That needs you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence you should give before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Mm-hmm.
Can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. State your name for the record.
Investigator Candace Wilson,
How you employed?
Clayton County Sheriff's Office.
And did you have occasion to investigate an incident that occurred at 9157 Terra Boulevard?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that within the confines of City of Jonesboro, Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that investigation involve a Keenan Bird?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please advise the court as to what happened that involved Mr. Bird?
Yes, ma'am. So I was called in by one of my sergeants to investigate an incident that happened in the jail. Once I arrived to the jail, I was told to get with Sergeant Strickland, who informed me of the incident with Mr. Bird that happened in, I believe it was Housing Unit 5. I spoke with Sergeant Strickland, and I also tried to view the cameras, but the angle of the camera, it was down at the time. So basically I just, I had to go off of the statement from Sergeant Strickland.
What happened? What did the sergeant observe?
What he observed, so I guess inmate Bird was on the rec yard. He seen another inmate outside of housing unit, section 3 in housing unit 5, I believe that was. They say inmate Bird ran over to the inmate. In his hand, he had some type of object. I guess he was attempting to stab the other inmate, but the officer tried to intervene, and he ended up stabbing the officer in the ear.
This is the corrections officer who works in that particular unit.
Yes, ma'am.
How seriously was the officer injured?
It wasn't life-threatening.
Did he require medical treatment?
Yes, ma'am. He went, I believe he went out to get treated.
And are inmates allowed to stab or otherwise injure the corrections officers at the jail?
No, ma'am.
Couldn't hear you.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did you get any statements, or did you interview Mr. Bird?
I did not interview Mr. Bird. No, ma'am, I did not.
Was the victim able to confirm that Mr. Bird was in fact the one who injured him?
When I tried to interview the inmate, he was not. He had already left the jail to go to get treated. So I wasn't interview the inmate. I mean the CO. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me make sure I understood what you're saying. When you went to interview the defendant, he was gone, or who did you?
Well, I went to interview the CO.
The corrections officer.
Yes, ma'am, to get his statement. He had already left the jail to go get treated.
Okay, so he went to the hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the defendant himself? Were you able to interview him?
No, ma'am.
Did any other inmates or any other sheriff's department personnel observe the victim being injured?
I believe there was another officer. I'm not sure I can't pronounce the officer's name. The other officer that was in the housing unit as well starts with the Ogafer.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was the one that made the call.
So he observed the injury occurring, or you're not sure?
He was there. He's seen the whole incident.
Oh, okay then. But the incident itself is not on video, or only a part of it is on video? I'm not sure.
Only a part of it was on the video. That you-
Okay. Was the actual stabbing on video?
It was not on camera in the housing unit. Sergeant Strickland did get it on his body camera.
And where's that body cam footage?
I believe he has it.
When you say he have it, who is he?
Sergeant Strickland.
Would that be in sheriff's department custody, or would he personally have it?
No, in sheriff department's custody.
Okay. Have you reviewed that video yet?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Okay. But you have talked to Sergeant Mitchell, and I think you said it's a corrections officer, Okafor, or something to that effect?
Yes, ma'am.
And they both were there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you able to recover the item that was used to injure the corrections officer?
No, ma'am.
Were they able to advise what happened to it?
I didn't ask.
You know, I believe that's all I have of this witness reserve right for redirect.
All right, cross-examination.
Thank you. Investigator Wilson, I think I only have a few questions for you. I just want to make sure I'm clear. You were unable to talk to, I believe it was C.L. Hughes, the alleged victim. You were unable to speak to him.
Yes, sir.
And if I'm following, Sergeant Strickland says that they observed it. They observed the incident when it was occurring.
Yes, sir.
And so when you've been discussing it today, the information that you have, it came from Sergeant Strickland. Is that the only person, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The days, and if I'm following, the incident starts when Mr. Byrd is alleged to be trying to assault another inmate, correct?
Correct.
And prior to, I guess, to the actual contact with the CO, at least as far as you understand, they're not saying there was any issue between Mr. Byrd and the CO. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Do you know whether or not? Well, I have a couple of questions. Let me slow down. First question: is there only the one contact with the CO that's been alleged? Just one time, or is it alleged to be more than once?
One time.
Yeah. Did you ever speak to or try to speak to Mr. Byrd about it?
I did not.
And the CO, is he, as you understand it, I know you're going off of, what's been told to you, but as you understand it, do you know whether or not the CO is facing Mr. Byrd at the time of the assault?
I do not.
I know we mentioned him being struck in the ear. Do you know specifically, like, are we talking like the back side, the front side? Do you know exactly where on the ear?
No, they didn't specify.
And if I understood correctly, nobody actually presented you with any sort of weapon that they said was recovered from Mr. Byrd.
No, sir.
Was there any explanation given as to why they didn't have a weapon that they were saying was used?
No, it was never, I never asked about the weapon.
And they didn't volunteer any information to you?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any evidence, any other witnesses or evidence?
Not at this time.
All right, Mr. Rogers, anything for you?
Just an argument, Judge.
All right, ADA Thomas?
I'll reserve.
And Judge, I guess I have a couple of issues with this. I guess on the one hand, nobody provided a weapon to the investigator. So I don't even know, exactly what the basis is to say that any sort of instrument or weapon was used versus, just a hand or something like that, for one. But for two, if I'm understanding the circumstances, it seems undisputed that the alleged target is supposed to be this other inmate. It's not the CO. It sounds like whatever contact happened with the CO was an accident.
Hmm.
And the relevance of that, Judge, is that he's charged specifically with ag assault on law enforcement. And my issue is that it's not clear this was an assault on law enforcement. It was an assault on another inmate is what's being alleged. So to the extent that we both don't have a weapon or anything, an instrument that was given to say that it was a deadly weapon being used in the assault or anything like that, I think that defeats the probable cause for an aggravated assault. And then for two, to the extent that it's part of the charges about it being on a law enforcement officer, since that wasn't the intended target. And let's be clear, I understand the concept of transferred intent. So I'm not saying that there is no assault being alleged. I'm saying that there's not an assault being alleged on law enforcement. So I would ask that the charge be reduced to, at this point, an assault. And that'll be my argument, Judge. Thank you.
All right, ADA Thomas?
Your Honor, this gentleman he had something he wasn't supposed to have to begin with, and it really doesn't matter who he intended to assault. It just so happened in this particular case, the officer doing his duty was the one who was injured. It's an officer, it's an aggravated assault. Elements met, Your Honor. State would ask that the case be transferred to the Superior Court as it is aggravated assault on a public safety officer, which was also witnessed by at least two other employees of the sheriff's office.
The court finds sufficient probable cause as an aggravated assault on the public safety officer. It'll be bound over to the Superior Court for further prosecution.
Thank
This matter
you.
is adjourned.
Officer Marcos and Officer Homer, can y'all